Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. Welcome and welcome to our Saturday special edition here at Focus on Liberia. Welcome, welcome, and stay with us as we go into this edition of our broadcast here at Focus on Liberia. And of course, we are broadcasting from our headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Anthony here in today along with my partner Dennis Cha, and welcome to the broadcast. In this edition of this broadcast, we are having a conversation on the issue of shipping and doing business in Liberia with the Liberian Diaspora Shipping and Business Association. We are looking into business and shipping in Liberia, and many of you might have heard about the challenges many people do face with shipping things to Liberia. The Liberian Diaspora Shipping and Business Association has been in this business of shipping, and they have had some significant challenges and experiences that they want to share with others of so that we can know what has been happening and what can be done about those things. And so we'll be looking at shipping and doing business in Liberia, and they will also talk to us about recommendation and solution that may be possible given what they have experienced so far. To discuss all this, we have Dominic Nimlen, who should be joining us from Liberia. Hopefully, he's not here yet. James Hinnen, we hope that James will also be able to join us. But comfortably seated in studio, as you can see, is Manti Zeinway, who is the Secretary General of this institution. We hope to have Vakuma Sharif also joining us here shortly in studio. Let me invite my partner, Dennis Jai, as we start this conversation. Dennis, I'm all set.
Well, if you live in America or any part of the diaspora, you have had some experience shipping something to Liberia, and you have some ladies and gentlemen who have been dedicated to doing this business to ship our stuff to Liberia. It could be a container, it could be a barrel, a bags, even a laptop. So we've all, one way or the other, have some experience doing business shipping to Liberia through some of the names that we know here. So we have the group here, the Liberian Diaspora Shipping and Business Association, that we're going to be talking to today. They're going to be telling us, the process. If I want to ship something, how do I do it? And also the pinpoints and how these things can be addressed. We want to say, Mr. Martin Zeinway, you are no stranger to Focus on Liberia, even though this is your first time appearing. But we have seen your comments. You have followed us judiciously. We want to say welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. And thank you for the platform. We appreciate what you guys are doing. As you clearly stated, I've been following. I love to discuss not just the problem, but the solutions. And I think that's one of the things I admire about Focus on Liberia. You guys don't just discuss the issues, but you discuss solutions. So I appreciate the invitation, and I know some of my guys, they're having some technical difficulties, but hopefully they will be joining us soon so we can all share and see how we can all work and help Mama Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We want to welcome our viewers from across the globe. This is Focus on Liberia, and we are discussing shipment to Liberia or shipping, and who better to explain that and tell us the process and what are the issues involved and how these can be addressed. But the organization called the Liberian Diaspora Shipping and Business Organization. And we are waiting for others to join in from Liberia and also in the diaspora who are part of this organization. Mr. Sie.
And Dennis, let's get to it. As we said earlier, Mr. Martin Zeinway is the Secretary General. You see that attractive acronym there, SG, the man who pens, the issues surrounding the institution. He is here with us. And before we get into the work that they do with the shipping, we want to talk about the institution a little bit. Let Liberians have the opportunity to know about this institution. And so we will roll in our first questions here quickly. What is the overall goal for forming this organization?
Our goal is to unite the Liberian shippers and business people in the diaspora, to create a platform where we can all, network with each other. Liberia we have a history of not working together, not supporting each other. So I want to give credit to Mr. Philip Woods, who is also a shipper, a long-time shipper. I know we did some PR together on another platform, so we all came together and said, you know what, let's create this organization where we can try to reach out to Liberian shippers, because it seemed like we're always fighting each other for the same business. So that's fine, but let's unite so that way we can engage the government with one voice. So we've been working on this for almost 2 years now. And we just recently registered in the U.S. and we have our board members and our executive team. We have some members in Liberia right now engaged in the government. But our goal is to unite Liberian shippers to work together with one voice, with a unified voice, to engage the government on issues that we face and solution to some of these issues. And to also create a avenue where we can advocate for shippers. Because we can't all go to the government and just talk. So if we go with one voice, or we have a representative who speak on our behalf as a united front, the government, I guess, they will pay more attention to us. So that's where we're trying to start. So we want to advocate, we want to network together, we want to come together as a unified team, and then work for our business and build our relationship with the government in Liberia and the people of Liberia in doing business and creating a friendly environment, a business environment in Liberia.
So Mr. Zeinway, when you form an organization, there is a problem that you are trying to solve. Yeah.
Right.
What's the issue or what's the problem you're trying to solve by creating this organization?
One of the problems is, APM terminal. We've been having some problem with APM terminal. BVAC. Also with the new CTN, and then also just engaging LRA. And I mean, there's a lot of different entities that play a role in the whole shipping process. From the shipping line in the United States or Europe. We even have some members in Europe and other places. You first work with the shipping line here, and then you have to work with BVAC in Liberia to initially start the process. Then you have to go to all these different governmental agencies, Ministry of Commerce and LRA and BVAC, and then the port, and then you have APM terminal, and then you have the shipping line in Liberia, then you have the brokers, you have the truckers, there's a lot involved, so yeah, so those are some of the issues that we're having with people, overpricing and, just the process too long. You pay for service, but you're not getting the service. Those are some of the issues. So we came together to see how we can discuss the issues, and then write down some bullet points to engage the government.
So in other words, this is my problem. This is your problem. So when we all get together, we can better address those kind of issues.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
All right, folks, you are watching Focus on Liberia. We are having conversation with the Liberian Diaspora Shipping and Business Association, and you are welcome to this conversation. Shipping is a big thing in Liberia. Many of us always want to ship something to the motherland, something that can help ease the economic conditions in the country. But sometimes when we try, not sometimes, most time I will argue, when we try, things can't just go well. So this institution is in the business, is trying to see how best they can help to mitigate this particular problem. Gentlemen, can you turn your video on, Dennis?
Right. There are few that are joining us. So, but before they join in, so Mr. Zeinway, who are your members? When you say shipping and business, who make up this organization?
It's a lot of different shippers. You have shippers from the East Coast. We have about 4 or 5 shippers from the East Coast. In New York, New Jersey, Providence, Rhode Island, Boston, Massachusetts. You have all those guys. Then you have people from Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. You have people from Atlanta, people from Texas, Arizona, people from California. You have people from, even some people from Canada. We have one guy from I think he's from Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. from Belgium. So he contacted us. So we're still building up. We're still building up. We have a lot of shippers in Ohio, including myself and Mr. Sherry, who will be joining us shortly. And we have about 30 members, 30 different when I say members, I mean like shipping companies. Each of these guys are shippers, and then some of them are just business people. You have people who just ship their things. You have different group of shippers. You have shippers that will ship other people things, including their business, and then you have people who just ship their goods and merchandise to sell. So, and then you have people who we ship their business on behalf of them. Meaning like, for example, we have agency we work closely with the Methodist Hospital, Waganta Methodist. All the different Methodist schools, we ship supplies for them. Medical supplies and beds and everything. So you have these people who are doing things in Liberia, and then we are like the middleman in between getting the things from here to Liberia.
Okay, let's talk about your leadership.
Okay,
right? Who are the leaders? I know we and what role they play.
We have myself. Initially, when we started, for me, a former leader, I was the Liberian community leader in Cincinnati, Ohio. And then I also came to Cleveland, Ohio, where I was the president for over 5 years and worked with ULA, worked with Fulau. So my leadership ability always been there. But initially, when I came back to Ohio after finishing school, when we started this organization, I didn't want to be the secretary general, but they asked me to.
Hold on, Martin. We just got someone joining us, Robert joining us from Monrovia. We can tell by the tour, and sometimes there are some connection challenges. So, Robert, welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
Good. So, Robert, let's hear from you. A little bit of introduction.
My name is Robert Finn, CEO of Zeinway Group of Companies. We do import and export. And office located on Benson in the Gather Street intersections.
Thank you. We're kind of losing your voice right there.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
My name is Robert Woodfin, National Custom Brokers, the CEO of Zeinway Group of Company.
Okay. Welcome, Robert. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. Let me pass it back to you, Mr. C.
And then I see a gentleman with the need prevalent clearing services. Can you please adjust that and put your name? I don't think that is your name. Or is that your name, sir?
Okay, I think he's going to come back home. Well, Mr. Sear, Mr. Jai, while we wait for you guys to come on, our reason here today, we came together not just the shipping association. We also reach out to the broker association, because the broker association is the middleman between the shippers and the shipping entities and the government in Liberia. And then we also reached out to the Liberian Business Association, and Patel, the Liberian Patel Association also, on the Used Car Seller Association. Because what we're trying to do here, we don't just want to just focus on shippers in Liberia. We try to unite with all those other guys who are the middlemen, who we all work with, who we all have some of the same issues, So that's why we have a representative from each of the different groups today, even though we have some other shipping organization and business association in the United States, but we just wanted to take one from the United States or in the diaspora, and then we have some of the different groups in Liberia that we can all work together, come here and talk as a unified front, So hopefully the guys can come on so they can give some of that. They can share some things with you guys. I know we have technical with the internet service in Liberia.
I know, but in the meantime, so talking about the organization, I know, are you accepting new members, and how does one become a member or part of this organization?
I mean, we are accepting members. You can look us up. We have a Facebook page. Again, we're building up. We don't have a website. A lot of people use social media. So we have a Facebook page, the Liberia Diaspora Shipper and Business Association. You can look us up, send us a message. What we're trying to do here is not about who the head, who's the bottom. We're just trying to come together and network together, and try to create a system. Because one of the things, if we look, we're in this great country, if we can create a system, okay, that's Robert having a difficult. Excuse me, Robert. No, they didn't block you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. We are in conversation with the Liberian Diaspora Shipping and Business Association. As they've stated, this organization came together, bringing together shippers and business people that are doing business from the diaspora to Liberia. So they include or incorporate people that are doing business, people that are shipping, and even those people in Liberia that are responsible, all the different groups in Liberia, including the brokers. They are all part of this association or this organization. So as to address some of their common issues, we are in studio with Mr. Martin M. Zeinway. He's the Secretary General, and we've just been joined by James L. Hinnan Jr. Gentlemen, so go ahead, Martin.
Yes. So with the leadership, we have myself, Martin, and then we have T1OK, Tubbo 1OK, who also run different NGOs in Liberia, and who also is a businessman in the United States and in Liberia. He's the assistant SG. We have Mr. Emmanuel Logan, who is our treasurer. We have Bill Neal, who is also these guys also own their own companies in Liberia and in the US. Bill Neal, who is also a shipper, and then we have what's his name? Sobar. He's from Indiana. He's our parliamentarian. And then we have our board members. We have Vani Sharif. We have Joseph Jackson, who is also building a hospital in Liberia. We have William Johnson. You can go. We have Angeli Yala, who is also a business currently on her way to Liberia. And we have 7 board members and 5 executive members. So, and then we have also members, registered members, and future registered members.
Thank you so very much. Let us come to James. James, unmute yourself. I just saw you muting yourself there. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. We are happy to have you. What do you want to tell us about you and your affiliation with this institution we're talking about?
Well, thank you so much for having me. My name is James Lawrence Hinnan. I'm currently the acting president of the National Custom Brokers Association. I'm actually the vice president. The president has been absent. There's elections next month. So currently I'm acting as the president. I'm glad to be on the show to share my insight and listen to the concerns and make my input. Thank you for having me.
And are you joining us from Liberia?
Sure, from Liberia.
And so what does the organization do?
The National Custom Brokers Association is we usually say the bridge between the business people and that of the Republic of Republic of Liberia. We are the guys that do clearing and firing for all import and export into and out of Liberia. When you hear Custom Brokers Association, it's all of the conglomeration of all of the brokers, under one umbrella, even though they're separate clearing friends, but we are the supervisory body that makes sure that we do clearing and firing for businesses. Pay the legitimate tax on your behalf, guide you, give you the necessary, tax rates as to the commodity you're importing, and guide you throughout delivering the goods to your premises.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Hinnan, for joining us there from all the way Liberia. We will now be going into the work that you do. And so let's come to you. This is our question. What does the process of shipping to Liberia look like? And who are the players?
Okay, the process begins from, the consignee or say the who-be businessman making a contact with a custom broker. Actually making a contact with a custom broker for the purpose of processing documentations related to import or export on his or her behalf. So it starts by you, the shipper or consignee, giving the custom broker your invoice, your packing list, your business registration certificate to indicate that you are legitimate. And that broker is supposed to take those documentation to Commerce Ministry as the first step, to get approval for whatever commodity that you want to import in the country. The reason why we go to Commerce to get that approval with the RPD or say import notification form as it is called today is to tell the government through the Ministry of Commerce that you want to import a certain commodity, or they are to make certain whether those commodities are contraband or they are acceptable to come to Liberia. So if you get that, go ahead from the Commerce Ministry, the broker acting on your behalf, we have to take that approval or import notification for or RPD, like it used to be called, to BVAC for further processes. Now, BVAC used to be the pre-shipment inspection company, hired by the governor of Liberia to do pre-shipment inspection or inspection prior to you shipping to the country. But in recent time, there have been a change, and we are at the level where we're doing full destination inspection. So we only take it to BVAC currently to get, a preparatory document, a tentative document that the broker will use to make declaration to customs. So out of the CRF, which is a clean report of finding, or the non-negotiable report of finding, which is the NNRF, is those documents that will say, give you the duty rates and the worth of your commodities with the invoice to say this is the document that broker will now use to make declaration to custom, for custom to be able to make an assessment to tell you, your tax liability, so that the broker will communicate with you, having made the declaration and having been assessed, will tell you what do you need to pay to government, and then you make that payment to government. The broker will have to will proceed to the shipping lines, because when you do shipment on our side, you pay freight, and the shipping line here at destination, there are other local requirements, other local charges like the delivery order fees. In the case where the continuing delay, there are demurrage fees. In the case where the invoice wasn't paid within a week, there are another fees that they charge that they call late invoice fees. And all those things, the broker will be able to guide you and put you in awareness of those liabilities. So when you satisfy all of the requirements of the shipping line, the broker will now, having taken delivery of the delivery order, the broker should proceed to the terminus, to take delivery of the cargo. But before you leave the BVAC, usually we pay 1.2% of your FOB value to BVAC. But if the value of your commodity is 15,000 and below, the broker will tell you, usually broker tell you to pay them $250 for that, because they're going to pay $190 in BVAC cover. And usually that $60 will be used, for processing documentation. So if you get the clean report or NNRF from the BVAC, you made declaration to custom, like I said, you pay your custom duty, you went to the shipping line, and then you got the delivery order, you're now at the terminal, you have to bill the terminal charges. The APM terminals have a rates applied to the commodities, whether it's a 40 fee or it's a 20 footer or it's loose cargo car, whatever, they have their tariff rate, and they're going to bill you. And if and when that goods stay more than 5 days in the terminal, there will be other costs that we call storage. So at that point, the broker will raise the bill, and usually furnish the consignee or the importer with that bill. And if that importer satisfies the payment of APM terminals, then the broker will have to hire a truck that will proceed in the terminal yard for loading. And
James,
even though I have to summarize it, but there are a lot of bureaucratic procedures that are involved in the processing of those documentation, engaging with custom, commerce, and all other stakeholders in the port. If that container is loaded, if the container is loaded from the terminal, now it comes out, it's two-way, whether the government will decide currently whether that goods will be discharged in the port for inspection reason, or the goods will go to your destination as an owner of the goods for inspection reason. They have a
James,
risk management protocol that is being controlled by the Liberian Revenue Authority, depending on your issues of imports. If you've been importing regularly without any, you know, yeah.
James, can you hear
You
me?
want to
Yeah, I've
ask
been trying to
question?
call your attention. What I want to ask you is, I mean, you just trying to summarize the process of, shipping something to Liberia and clearing it, and it's taking you almost 10 minutes to explain. That
Mm,
tells me and my listeners that this
mm-hmm.
is a process that should not be.
Francis, put the light on,
Uh,
please.
what happened to James again? This is a process that should not be sustainable or that is not sustainable.
I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah.
So listening to that, Martin, is
Well,
hurting
yes.
my head too. You are on this side.
Uh-huh.
Is that the process that you go through?
Yes, that's the process. That's the process we go through. Again, the process is very tedious and
But
long.
I
Um,
have not even exhausted. I have
I
not
know.
exhausted the
and
summary,
he's not finished.
of
He
the
just
process.
in the
That was
middle.
just a summary that I haven't even concluded.
Yeah, he's
It's
in the
And
middle.
vigorous.
So that's up to you getting your bill. Then you have a whole nother process before you release your container to take it to your site where you're going to unload the container. So there's a long process.
Mhm.
That's a long process. And this is why we're here today, to see how we can work together to make the process smoother and have a better system in place where things can go a lot faster and smoother. Because if you don't understand the process, if you do not understand the process and you're not waiting to work, and you don't have the right people working on your behalf, you can get frustrated. And I think we hear stories of people leaving the container at the port,
Seriously.
just leave, abandon the
Certainly.
container.
Certainly.
You spend all this money and you just abandon it because you're so
wow.
frustrated. Yes.
And I can imagine, Martin. I mean, this Jim is trying to take almost 10 minutes to explain the process of
And he
shipping
saw
and
you
clearing
just in the
something to
middle.
get it to your destiny. And it's taking that long, and he's saying he did not even complete that process by explaining it. I
Yes.
mean, Dennis, I don't want to ship anymore. But hey, let's do this. There are institutions we know that are involved with the whole shipping thing, the Beaver, the LRA, talking about, we heard about something called CTM, the MPA itself. Let's go to this institution one by one. Dennis?
Yeah, who's doing what? And James, anytime you are about to talk now, I'm afraid because it look like the process here. So what do I want to say? It's mind-boggling. Okay, so
I
so
know.
end your thought
I
and
know.
just complete your thought. Maybe in like 2 minutes to complete the process and see where we are.
So if you get the loading permit to go to the terminal to load, at that point you believe that the process is over. But the APN terminal, says they operate for 24 hours, but they don't usually. It's actually not 24 hours. Like for instance, if you bill 4 o'clock today, for it to be 24 hours, it means that since you have paid storage and demurrage and all that, it means that the next day, 4 o'clock, your payment should expire. But it's not like that. When you pay 4 o'clock today and you could not load over the night, the next morning, 7 a.m., that bill is expired. You have to go back in a cycle to make new payment, get new truck. Now you lost the previous truck you have, go back to find another truck and hire it. You do that in cycle sometimes 2 times, sometimes 2, 3 times if the peak season before you actually go get loaded. If that container is loaded, it come out, then based on the risk management profile, they might tell you have to go to the destination inspection site for inspection in the case where they believe that your import has risky, associated with risks. Say the commodity is a mixed commodity, it's not uniform commodity, or you import in the country before and you have excess or undeclared identifier in your history, they will have to say you have to do the inspection in the port. At the inspection site in the port, it's crazy. You have more than you have about let's say exactly 8 officers, 8 different agencies there to do the inspection. And the reason why the inspection side is more complicated is that custom is there for revenue reasons. But now you will see somebody from the Judge Enforcement Agency, somebody from the EPS, which is the Executive Protection Service, that's already protecting the president, his family, at the DR side, helping to do inspection on your container. So you answerable to 8 different agencies at that point, including the Comment Ministry, the Beaver, everybody is there. All those people have different demands. Immigration is there. All those people have different demands asking you for copies of a document. And what is more is that instead of the commerce, let's say instead of the LRA officer asking you on the taxes you pay, whether it's false declaration or whether they believe that you understated the value, you get DEA officer asking you such question. You get, EPS officer saying the money you pay is low. At the point you want to deliver your client commodity and
So
all the
James,
complications.
No. James, stop right there. I'm getting impatient here. EPS?
They are there.
What is EPS doing there?
Inspection.
That means you bringing something for the president, or what?
So it is not that. It is not that the commerce, because all the commerce, the LRA officer, which is the custom officer, they are trained. It's not that if there's a light security threat, then the LRA will call in the EPS or the Drugs Enforcement Agency. No, it's not like that. Everybody is there asking the broker for paper, helping to check the cartoons, want to open all of the barrels. And that have been our issues because,
James,
those personal effects.
James.
Yes.
I know. How long have you been doing it? And has this been the process all along?
I've been doing this since 1999.
And has this been
associated with the broker association? Well, it almost been the same process, but the security level has increased. And, the security level has increased. We never had the EPA. We never had the DEA. We had commerce. Yes, we had, the customs. Yes, we had the anti-smuggling. The anti-smuggling is there currently. We had them before, but now the security has increased. So some of the issues we have been having is that, let's have custom do custom business. If there's an issue that custom need extra external security for, that has a light on the container, custom should contact all the other agencies. But entirely importation should be of import duties and revenue reasons. So all those securities, at the point where your broker, I know some of you who import in the country will say the broker takes some money from me that he couldn't give me receipt. And I'm cognizant of the fact where people believe brokers are criminals. I'm not trying to stand in defense of all brokers. I know there are some bad brokers. But yes, for the broker to deliver your consignment, there are a whole lot of bureaucratic procedures involved. And for him to do it in time, he had to make certain compromise. And we can understand that corruption is an issue. But if those compromises are not made, you either go into extra charges that will be bigger liability for you. And so those compromises are being made. And I'm glad that you bring out this program. We can talk more. We can bring together out there because the brokers have been the only voice in this sector. So I'm glad that many of you are coming on board for us to put together a plan to make a presentation to government authority to act.
So Martin.
Right.
With the even the process explaining is hurting my head. So you as a shipper, who do you deal with? Is it just the broker or you go through all that? So tell me your experience, what the process has been like for shippers in the diaspora.
I mean, we have been shipping for about going on 7 years now. We've been shipping. Just what James was saying is true. A lot of time I will go directly to the broker. And because I've been in the system for a while, I've been doing this business, so I understand the process. But a lot of people may not understand the process. So once I go to the broker, and I'm working with the shipping line in the United States, where I'm shipping from, now the broker will handle everything in Liberia, and inform me of every step, Now, I know you mentioned, has it been like that in the past? Almost. It almost been like that. In the past, we used to do pre-shipping inspection.
Right.
Yeah. So when you do your pre-shipping inspection, meaning if I'm shipping things for my clients in the United States or wherever I'm shipping from, I will contact BVAC agent in the United States. So now BVAC will send their agent to my warehouse and open my boxes and, check my clients' things to make sure all these things that I put on my invoice are what the things that I'm shipping.
Sure.
So after they do that, they will itemize everything, a complete report together, and give me the final inspection report.
Right.
And then they will send a copy to PSI.
Yes.
And when they send it to PSI will process the paper and send it to BVAC in Liberia to do the final paperwork to get your claim report, and then before they go to LRA. But the LRA, sometimes when you go to LRA will say, you know what, your bill is too low. Right. So we will do another assessment. Sure. So let's say if you bought a car here, you can buy a car here for $400. You can buy a car for $1,000. Maybe you're lucky, somebody trying to get rid of a car, and you buy it cheap. But LRA will say, you know what, you bought a 2004 car, Toyota Camry. Even though you say you bought it for $800, but the value is more than that. So LRA will value it at maybe $5,000. Right. So now they will base your tax, your custom duty. They will base it on the $5,000 value, not the money that you pay for it. So this is why.
Even though you're showing your receipt.
You're showing your receipt. You're showing your title. And everything. They will value your car. They will tax you on the $5,000 value that they put on your car. So sometimes you see our customer will say, "Oh, the shipper trying to steal from me. They overcharge me. I will buy the car this, and then they will charge me this." So this is what we go through. So now we have to go and petition to LRA, or we will just go through the process. But again, to fast forward, so when you do your pre-inspection in the United States before BVAC, now they're doing destination inspection. That James mentioned. So when you do your pre-inspection here, now it was a little smooth compared to now because once you do the pre-inspection, the government would not do any destination inspection in Liberia. That means BVAC here, agree with everything that you said you were going to ship, and those are the things that you ship. So the government will go with that, and then they will tax you on that. Now you can go and they will not open your container at the port because destination inspection means they're doing the inspection at the port. They're going to open your container, and they're going to get all your customer things out. They're going to open some boxes, and things will go missing, things will go damaged, and your customer will blame you. They will not blame the government because they're doing business with you, So we try to avoid destination inspection. This is why doing the pre-shipping inspection, we think that was better than doing the destination inspection. Okay. If I can put it like that.
So who all can be at the pre-shipping inspection?
The pre-shipping inspection will be BVAC representative, so the inspector, and then you and your people that are helping you load. Because let's say I have 7 guys helping me load a container or to load 2 containers. So BVAC inspector will be there to open boxes and open containers, and then we'll have to seal it back and pack it up. They would be there to take pictures and take count of everything, And once that is sealed, we're done with it, and to seal your container, you cannot load it again. You cannot add anything to it. So they will seal your container. You put your locks on or just the seal. Now the only time that seal will be open, if you do the inspection in the United States or wherever you're shipping from, it will be open at your destination or your warehouse. So after you've gone through all the process and you release your container, you will take it straight to your warehouse, even though the inspector and things will be there, but they will just be there to make sure everything you said is right, compared to opening your container at the port where you are not there. You have 7 guys to help you load. Now maybe your broker have only 2 helpers.
So Jim, Martin.
Yes.
You're throwing a lot of words at us here. BVAC, LRA, CTN, APM terminal, NPA. Let's take them one at a time, what they do and what the problem or some of the pain points that you have with each of these areas. Let's start with BVAC. What is that?
BVAC is the Bureau Investor. It's a pre-shipping company.
Okay.
A pre-shipping company that works for the government. It's based in Europe. And then they also work with PSI, which is based in India. PSI is the processing of information. So BVAC, after you get your clearance from Commerce, you go to BVAC to register. Now, doing alien government, that's when BVAC came in, and BVAC were there to do the paperwork and make sure funds were for the government were put in where it's supposed to go. So BVAC were there to track how many containers were coming in, who was shipping, and how much the government was making. So BVAC now, the government allowed BVAC to do the inspection here, because people were shipping some illegal things, before the war and during the war and, doing the former government. So BVAC will do the inspection and BVAC will process your final clean report. Your clean report is your final bill. Then LRA, which is the Liberia Revenue Authority, LRA, that's where all the payments and things are done or is done. So then you will go to LRA after you get your bill. LRA will call you and say, you know what, we see your bill, but your bill, they will either say it's okay or they will say it's too low. So we need to reassess. And then they will put their own value on everything on your invoice that BVAC agreed to. Even though BVAC is working on behalf of the government, but BVAC, yet and still, LRA is saying, you know what, you guys, you're charging too low. We want to reassess the card. We want to reassess this. We want to reassess that. So they will go ahead and reassess everything and put their own value on, what they think it should be. And then your final assessment fee will be based on that. So if, let's say BVAC give you your first fee to be, let's say, $2,005. Now LRA do a second assessment. Now you have $5,300 to pay. Right. So after LRA, then you go to now you start going to the port. You start going to the bank because you're sending your money to the bank, so you can get your money from the bank. Then you go to the bank. You go through all the process. Then you go to AP terminal. AP and terminal, they're the one who unload the container from the ship. They are the one that manage the container while it's in the ship, while it's at the port, because the port is like the storage side. So a lot of time people say, "Oh, I know people to the port. I know people to the port." That have nothing to do with the shipping. The port is just a storage space. So AP terminal will unload your container, and they're responsible for your container until you release it. But in the past, we used to have 15 days to release your container. 15 days. And then it moved to 10 days, and then 7 days. Now it's 5 days. And within that 5 days, you cannot get your paperwork done within that 5 days. So you will be charged storage fee because the 5 days has passed. So every day after the 5 days, that's including weekends. But a lot of these companies don't work on the weekends. So even though the weekend is included, but you're being charged for it, even though they're not working. You're not responsible, but you're being charged for it, and you're being counted for it. So now we go into overstorage, and you're waiting to pay everything. Then after you finish paying, now you have to go look for a truck so they can come and load. So when you bring the truck, that's what James was referring to. So you go and the place is closed. Now it's late. The truck can't leave. So the truck is there and they're charging you for an extra day, even though your container is already on the truck. And then you got to shake other people's hands, just to get things to go faster.
Yeah.
So the shipping.
What do you mean by you have to shake other people's hands?
I'll leave it like that. But for things to go through the whole process, and then when you release your container, you take it to your final destination where you're going to unload. You have to pay people to unload your container. So usually we have 10 to 20 guys, unloading this container because you want to do it in a timely manner to be able to return the container back to the port, the empty container back to the shipping line. And then you have inspectors again to the unloading site. You have the immigration and all these guys there to make sure to take another count. And if they see something that that red flag, or they see something that may say, you know what, we want to take this back. We want to take the whole container and reappraise it. So it's just that.
So Martin, this remind me, during the war, right? And anybody who crossing from from Yekepa to go to Guinea through the tour border, area F border. So you see these guys you get in the office, and the tables are ordered. This guy is G2, this guy is immigration, this guy is so you think that if you come from table A and you process some papers, it's completely independent of the other guy sitting right next to you.
Oh yes,
And you're
yes.
starting the entire process over. You would think that if for instance BVAC will say, okay, this is your charge, LRA will just look at that and say, okay, good. But now LRA is sending you back to go over the process again.
Right.
So it remind me of your F border from the G2 guy to the other guy. And the thing about it is all 6 of them are in the same office and they are hearing what you are telling the other guy.
They're hearing.
And
Yeah.
you have to repeat the same thing to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy, and you are paying money. So I can see the frustration. We'll open our phone lines because this thing is like it's too heavy for just 2 years. So we want to add other more people to the discussion.
I just wanted to
And
mention
then let's bring James
the
in
time
with this
frame.
CTM. The
Yeah,
CTM
James. We don't know what the CTM is. So go ahead.
What is this CTM?
It's a long story to explain. I can take 2 minutes.
Yeah, please take 2 minutes. Wait, please make it short.
The CTN didn't start. The CTN actually didn't start now. It started since Ellen time. They've been negotiating. They wanted to come because after the 9/11 in the U.S. there, the terrorist attack, the Homeland Security were created, and then they tried to put security measures in maritime to be able to see what is on the ship, to be able to have an eye on what is traveling on the sea. So they created the maritime solution, the cargo tracking note, to say all countries or certain countries should sign up to this, and when the countries sign up to it, it means that by a certain time you should have a cargo tracking note company in your country. So what it does is that there is some covert security group that every time you load a container, they monitors the container, where it stopped, what happened to it, because the idea is that terrorists use container for money laundering, for transporting weapons, all kind of stuff, and nobody monitoring it. So they brought a group to be the group to monitor everything that on the ship until it arrives to the country of destination, to make it certain that it's not tampered with. At least that's the explanation they give us, that what the cargo tracking note represents. So our issue here is that they are saying you should do it before you ship. It's a pre-shipment requirement. Before you do it, you should get a copy of your bill of lading, your invoice submitted to the online system, and they'll give you a number. So that number is not the regular tracking number that we use to track the location where the container is. No, it's a different number in the security arena that they use to monitor and track where the cargo is going. So for that, we will have to pay, at least in Liberia had the highest amount that we pay. We pay $250 per 40-foot container. But if you miss the timing that you did not do the CTM and you load the container on the vessel, they will penalize you $160, making it $410 on 140-foot container. And if it's a 20-foot container, you pay $130 regular. But if you load the container before going through the CTM process, they'll put $80 as a penalty. So 80 plus 130, you're paying $210 for 20-foot container. So in all that, they say it's for security reasons. One thing they told us was that if we as a country, because the government has signed up to it and they have made a commitment by 2020, which is last year, we should have a cargo tracking note company in Liberia. But our argument from the Broker Association has been, in all of the other countries that we did our research, like Ghana, there's no penalty charge, and in fact, the amount they pay is $50 per bill of lading, not per container. And that $50 per bill of lading, whether you get 5-6 container only, you pay $50 is unique, and there's no penalty charge until if you didn't do the CTN and your cargo about to leave the port, that's when they ask you for penalty. So our argument was that the amount is exorbitant and that there was no need for us to be penalized. We did that. We did a research. The managing director asked us to go and find out in other countries how they did it. We did it up to today. The business people still pay that amount of money. And one thing they told us that encouraged us to think that it was a good thing was that when we have this compliance, this ISPS compliance or level that we have CTN in our country, the freight that we pay to ship to Liberia were going to reduce because the shippers are going to feel that the country is secure. Since the CTN was introduced, there have been no reduction in freight. In fact, the freight has increased. If you just ask people in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria shipping from the US, using US as an example, you pay 100% increment when you ship into Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria as compared to when shipping in Liberia. That have been some of the reasons why our port is very expensive, because if you're paying $4,000 to ship to Liberia, it means that you pay less than $2,000 to ship to Guinea or Sierra Leone. And they told us that the CTN, coming up, the CTN was going to have impact on the freight that we pay. That has not happened. Right. So why we don't control, when our government make commitment to these things, we don't control it, they impose it on us. But we believe that the charges that they charge us for the same services in other countries should be the same services. And that impact to the business community, say the reduction on freight, and things should come to fruition. If they don't, then there is no need for the CTN. And we have been making that argument. And so when you can add your voice to it, it will be good.
James, we definitely going to have part 2 to the discussion, because I think for us to do a tiny little bit of justice to the issue, you need to come back. So let's we want to bring in some of our comments and then also call us. But my question to both of you is, so what has been the impact? Because you are in this business to make profit. Mm-hmm. What has been the impact on your business? And that's to both of you, or Martin and James. How has this impacted you, positively or negatively?
If I can just sum it up, CTN, I believe CTN need to go. You know, I want to plead to the government. If anybody listening, CTN need to go, because CTN is a private company. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not part of the government revenue. No, mm-hmm. We're paying for something that we're already receiving from the shipping line. Mm-hmm. You can always track your container. We don't need a tracking number. You know, the same tracking information that we're giving to BVAC or the shipping line is giving us, that's the same number they're giving to CTN. To get a separate number that have nothing to do with your shipping. I know it was a good intent. It looked good on paper. But in practice, you know, CTN, and because of CTN now, so when they raise their price, all the other entities raise their price.
Right. And why is the shipping line not absorbing the cost for CTN?
No, they're charging us for it.
Right. Why not the shipping line? Because you are tracking, okay, I'm paying you, Mr. Shipping Line, to take this thing.
Right.
So the security bill around it, you should absorb that cost, not me even if you can build that into what you are charging me, I think that's better. But for you to directly pay CTN, I don't get it.
No, the shipping line, you see, the shipping line here, they will tell us, say, you know what? This is something we have no control over. We don't need CTN. You know, we already gave you a global tracking number. I can track my container from here to Liberia without CTN. So CTN is a whole nother certificate you're getting, you know, that have no reason behind it.
And my thing, the thing is that if the shipping line is giving you a tracking number, mm-hmm. but then you have CTN giving another tracking number, and the reason is for them to track the particular item that you're shipping to know whether or not something sinister or something terroristic is going about on it. Mm-hmm. Why can't the tracking number from the shipper can mm-hmm. be given to CTN, and that very tracking number can be used to monitor the security aspect of the particular item. And then if anything happens, then CTN can report it or alert the shipper that, hey, this particular shipping number or tracking number you gave us, we are getting information that this is wrong with it. But it's not the case. They're generating their own tracking number. The shipper is giving you a tracking number, and basically just saying the same thing, and you pay twice for just the same thing. Yes. So I see your point that, look, we don't need this.
We don't need it.
If you need it, there got to be a way around it. Let it be one number. Let CTN just be responsible for the security aspect of it. Whereas the one, the shipper or the number given to me, I can just use it to know the destination or where my particular item is. So I see your point there. I just want to make that little comment there.
Because again, to shine some light on that, CTN just increased their fees.
Mm-hmm.
It just increased their fees again.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for doing pretty much nothing.
Nothing.
This is look, you hire BVAC. You hire BVAC to work on your behalf.
Mm-hmm.
You hire BVAC to do pre-inspection because of security reason. BVAC will send their agent from New York, from Texas, from wherever, Michigan. They will come to our location. They will inspect everything and take picture of it. So if there's any hazardous material or anything illegal that we were shipping, your agent will find it out. Your agent will give us a final inspection report. So what's the need of CTN?
What's the need of CTN? Dennis, we have some callers. Let's bring them in. We will come back to you, Mr. Hine, quickly. Let's take this caller. Hold on, callers. Hold on. Let me put everybody in line here.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you just joining us, this is the Liberian Diaspora Shipping and Business Association. We are talking about shipping to Liberia. Oh my God, my head is hurting. Every time James, the broker in Monrovia, opens his mouth, I just feel the pain, and I give my example of the Era FG or Elijah, where Tia is agreeing with me here. And so I see maybe this is a leftover of the war years where the process is being repeated so many times. Do we have a caller?
We do. The man Opa Dwalo is on the line. Mr. Dwalo, welcome to Focus on Liberia. We are happy to have you. Let's go into it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man. I've been listening here. I'm not laughing, but I'm almost understand completely what these guys are talking about. A lot of times people say the free port is the gateway to Liberia. I think the free port is the barrier that stops Liberia's economy. There is a beautiful paper out there that chronicles the experience you go through at the free port. I actually put it underneath there. It's called the Free Port of Monrovia, What to Do and Expect. You can actually Google this and read about it. But let me say this. The experience at a free port is really, really killing the country. Now, I have a question for these guys. I import stuff from other countries before, and I don't expect the same standards that I experienced here in Boston to be the same standard in Liberia. But let's just give you an overview. When my supplies came from China, all my equipment, it got to the port of Boston. All they did was the broker called me, Mr. Dwallu, do you want it delivered to your house? You want to pick it up or deliver it to your house? And the next day, they came, the container truck came, they set it down right in my yard, and they were gone. I don't expect them to get to that level. But let me ask you guys a question. Do you think it is possible? Because you have all these tentacles from the tank to the machine breaking down. I remember when I used to ship to Liberia, shipping tanker trucks. Sometimes the machine that lifts the stuff out of the ship, they got burned. We had only one at the port. Every time it would break down. But do you think we will ever get to a point where the system is set up in a way where all this nyama, because I really believe the government can double their intake at the free port if they just make it fluid. Yes. But do you think we'll get to a point where you don't have to go through all these plenty agencies? It's just go through one, pay your money and take your container out? You think we'll ever get to that point?
I mean, I want to say so. I want to say yes, but again, we have to fight. This is why we're here today. Again, we're not here to point finger or blame people. We're just trying to focus on the issues. We're trying to focus on the issues. We're trying to let the government know that Liberia is called the free port. It's the gateway to the economy, like you stated. Make business easy. The business environment in Liberia is not friendly. It's like you pay for service. After you pay for it, you have to beg them to give you that service. You have to beg them. You pay them, but you're begging them. And they act like they're doing you a favor when you're paying for it. Look, we need customer service is important. The government, I've been shipping 3 containers. I ship 4 to 5 times a year. 2 to 3 containers every shipment. Last year and this year, I only shipped 1 container at a time. I shipped 3 times last year. This is my first shipment I'm working for July 26th. That's revenue out of the government pocket. Why? Because again, this DI inspection, it's a lot of headache. I have a lot of people now that just stopped shipping. because they don't want to deal with the confusion. I mean, we have people that are sued by the clients because they went and opened their things at the port, stuff was missing, stuff was damaged. Now the shippers are being blamed for it. We are being blamed for it. We are being sued for it. And the government just packed that thing, wipe their hand and go. Look, they need to come together, look, and say, look, when you make the business environment friendly, especially the Liberians, I built my own warehouse. The road leading to our warehouse, it was damaged. I worked with the community to build a bridge and pave the road. It's not just our business benefiting, the community is benefiting. We have other agencies and schools that we adopt as an organization. One of the things is we're going to do two humanitarian work every year.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Mr. Hina. Can you take 1 minute at the same question? Do you think it's ever going to get better? Do you think the process will kind of like be put into a single place so that your job can be easier, so that business people who are shipping can find it easier, so that the government too maybe can increase the generational revenue? Because you said earlier, sometimes people abandon their containers because of the cost. I mean, 1 minute, because we have a lot of callers that want to participate and we don't want to keep them waiting.
Well, it's possible. It's possible, but it's difficult. It's possible depending on the government will to do so. When it comes to the realization that it will be in the better interest of the country. One thing that can solve it is single window. You create an software for a single window where we can submit our application online for approval, get all the approval, get all the documentation, file it, and just sit in our offices and deliver container from the port. If the government can link the bank with the APN terminal with the LRA, that you can sit in your room and make declaration like it is now and do payments online, it can be possible. It's something we can do. But electricity is going to be a barrier, and the internet, the internet facility that we have, it has to be improved. So it's possible, but this conversation will help to open up, authoritative mind to the kind of decision.
So James, quickly, what is the incentive for government to make this difficult? What does government benefit from the tedious process you go through at the Freeport?
It's not a government in particular that benefit, but the individual, the bureaucrats that in the employ of government, they benefit if the process is rigorous, if the procedures are long, and it gets frustrated, and then the broker who want to get ahead, the businessmen who want to get ahead and make delivery on time, will have to make certain compromises outside government revenue.
You're trying to sugarcoat it, James. Then they have to bribe their way through. That's what it is.
Exactly where they are being diplomatic about it. But if the person the bigger biller, somebody who can bribe their way through, will get ahead, and that is not fair play. That is not what business, procedure and processes should be like.
Dennis, the callers are dropping off. Let's bring them in quickly, and then this gentleman can respond. We have a caller phone number ending in 4026, area code 918. Quickly to the issue.
Yeah, let's get more callers and you respond. Just write it down.
Yes. This is Leo calling from Oklahoma, and my question is, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes.
All right, good. If a person wanted to ship maybe a gun to Liberia, is it legal?
What?
Okay, let's go to the next caller.
Is that your question?
A gun.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just trying to find out for someone.
Yeah. They will answer your question, so continue to pay attention. We're going to take the next caller here, and that caller is caller with phone number ending in 3904. I believe you are Murphy. Murphy, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Quickly to the issue.
Thank you very much. I just have a couple of questions quickly in 1 minute. Firstly, I want to ask, is there even a need for custom broker? That's the first question. The second one is, hello?
Go ahead. We're listening to you. Go ahead.
Okay, the second one is, what are the required time frames from receiving a legitimate document to be taken to commerce all the way up to releasing the container? Do they have a set time frame that between this time and this time, containers should be released from the port when everything is okay? The last one there is, what do they think that is wrong that needs to be corrected? Because, talking on the show here will not help alone. They got to put their foot down in Liberia and go to the legislature and talk to somebody about the brokers that they accepted now. They're not doing anything. They should get up and make a move. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me bring in Kesali Double. You are live.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anthony, and thank you, Mr. Guy. Thank you for your guest in studio. My question is, I really want to know who's benefiting from all of these tax and things that are put on this container that are to Liberia. Because the last time I listened to the last time. No. Hello.
Go ahead. We are listening, Mr. Double. Go ahead.
Yeah, because the last time I listened to the port managing director, he said that the CPN that is going on, it is not the port that is getting this money, and the government is not benefiting. So I want to ask the culture broker and brother who are exporting containers from here, who's actually benefiting from this money? Because the government is that they are not benefiting. If is benefiting. So let them make it clear for us too.
Thank you. All right. Gentlemen, let me bring in the final caller here, and then you can answer those questions. Aliu Kamara, you are live.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. You're very pretty sure there. Thank you both guys in the studio. Look, let's not pretend and say we're not here to call names. Okay, we are going to call names because names are involved. Let us not say that
Aliu, May adjustment. Where are you? You're not clear. What happened? Are you using Propo phone?
One of those things. When you're looking at now, are you putting in now?
No, it's even getting worse.
Oh, I know.
All right, go ahead. We can barely hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me much better?
Much better. Go ahead. Do it.
Okay. So, like I was saying to the brother in there, let's not say here that we're not going to call names. We're going to call names because names are involved. Let us not say here that the government is not benefiting. You listen to the president's speech in recent time in Limba County. He said that Liberians will learn how to pay taxes because if you don't pay taxes, the roads will not be built, the this and that will not be built. And then he said we care about noise in the derogatory was. But we will try to fit. And you know what? First we are telling you we will for 3 years. And the Lord about what's happening in the port did not stop down. Okay, like the story is saying, we should keep on talking. We are talking. In fact, we have brought the APS with the National Petroleum Monitoring Director on different shows. We have brought LRA, that's the representative on show. This is not happening. Look, I just sent a car over there in recent time. I paid $1,000. I paid $2,500. The other fees, $300. I paid almost the same amount I paid to buy the car. Not to talk about how much I paid $1,100 just to the car. Can you imagine that? So somebody comes to me and says, "They want to buy my car."
Thank you, Aliu. You are not clear, so please post your comment.
Yeah, Aliu, we are sorry, man. You are making a very good contribution, but the quality of your voice there is so bad, and we don't want you to burn that good energy for nothing. Gentlemen, you listen to the questions. Let's start with you. Hold on here.
So briefly, the callers here say from Leo in Oklahoma say, is it legal to ship a gun? Murphy is asking, what's the need of the brokers? What is the time frame from the time you ship your container to clearing it? And what needs to be fixed? Kesali Double is saying, who's benefiting from all this? Government said they're not benefiting. And Aliu Kamara said, cut to the chase, man. We know who's doing this. Call names.
Call names. Let's start with you, James.
I can say whether illegal or illegal to ship gun. Because I've never cleared a gun. Gun is something that is contraband. It requires, hold out a meeting the small arm commission or the arm commission to make sure you can import it. So with gun, well, I can say whether or not it's illegal. The use of
James,
custom broker,
I
whether
would
it's
say, James,
imperative.
James, I'm sorry not to cut you off. I would say it's illegal. I know one of my partner who
Sure.
someone shipped
I didn't want to be outright because
yeah, and a container was
to
seized in
grab
New
go
York.
and ship it, no. So sure. So whether imperative to you broker, no, it's not imperative. The legislature created through an act of legislature, the Custom Brokers Association, to be the one to do clearing and firing. It's not some organization that will went and get business registration for or article or corporation for. It's an act of legislature. But in the revenue code, it's very clear that a business person, a owner of a commodity, is not compelled to use a custom broker. If and when you feel like you are knowledgeable to the procedure and processes, and if that goods is concerned to you, say the goods is in your name, James importing 5 containers. I reserve the right to clear it. But when there is a business importing, then it's a must that you have to contact the custom broker. CTN will benefit. Yes, the government do benefit. No Bill Traore cannot tell you that the government is not benefiting because Bill Traore told me this is a live that can be played, a podcast that people can reference. So I'm not going to say anything here that is misleading. Bill Traore told us as custom broker when we were demanding that the CTN was no use, it has no impact on the businesses they should go. Their defense was that the GTMS, the company that is here, were contracted by the National Port Authority. The CTN, the cargo tracking should have been done by NPA, the National Port Authority, but because they don't have the capacity to do so, so they outsource that to this company to do that on the behalf. So the cargo tracking company that is here is an extension. It's an extension of the NPA. And every dime they collect, they have a sharing agreement between the National Port Authority, which is a government entity, and that company that operates the CTN in the country. So that I would say to that. The next question was, or whether what was the next question, please?
The time frame.
Nobody, no LRA officer or custom officer or a custom broker can tell you the time frame. There's no specific time frame, but I can just give you a quick idea in less than a minute. The Minister of Commerce says that it takes at least 3 days. At least 3 days. So you can go at least 3 days to get your import permit approved. So approval taking 3 days. And then at BVAC, if you submit your document, it takes you at least 10 days. 10 days. So already you get 13 days. And you have only 5 days in the port to clear your container. So it's almost impossible for you to clear without paying additional costs in storage and demurrage, except when you are smart enough to make all your documentation, go through all the documentation processes prior to the arrival of your goods. So usually we advise our client that before you ship, get your RPD approved. Before you ship, go through BVAC, send your documents and get your BVAC report ready. So that prior to the arrival of your goods, your broker can make declaration on your behalf and you can pay government taxes even before your goods arrive. When you do that, it is the only way you can try to save costs from paying demurrage and storage. But when you say the goods arrive to the country today and you want
so the last question there, what needs to be fixed?
the extra charge.
That up, Martin, before until we can get James back.
What need to be fixed? I think APN terminal need to be fixed. Meaning, James, I think his last comment was the amount of days it takes to process your paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go back to the 10 or 15 days that we have without being charged. Because to process your paper, James just stated it takes at least 13 days to get your paper processed. So we need the APN terminal need to give us more days to process the paper, and they need to be able to provide the service that we pay for. One, CTN, I feel like CTN need to go. That's my personal belief. And I think someone was asking about the broker. If you need a broker, I think the broker are needed because it makes the job easier, especially if you have a good broker. if you have a good broker who really knows his job and who is fair, when you're doing work in Liberia, you're doing business in Liberia, you ask for fair. You ask for fair. If the broker is fair, trust me. We're not saying that we don't want to pay tax. We're not saying that the government should let us ship for free. We're just asking for a better system that's not squeezing and strangling us, because we're all doing business to make profit. We're all doing business to make profit. We're creating jobs because when we ship and we deal with the broker, we're paying the broker to do these things. And the broker are paying their worker to work, to go to these different agencies because they can't run from here and there, So it's a ripple effect. So now if you strangle the top, now it's a ripple effect, meaning I can't ship. Like now I'm shipping less. So my broker not working like he's supposed to. And now those guys who are unloading the ship, they're not unloading my container like they used to. They're not. So it's a ripple effect. So all we're asking for is like, we just need to fix the system. We need to start strangulating the shippers and the business people. Make it free, make it open, make the environment friendly. There was a hearing, and we also asking our senators. That's one of the job, oversight. The senators need to get involved. Our legislators, they need to create a system. They need to ask these guys, what is the benefit? They invited CTN, they invited LRA, but they didn't ask the business people to come. And we wrote them. We wrote the speaker. Invite the business people because you're hearing from all these people. If they go, they're going to talk in their interests. Invite us so we can cross-reference each other and see how we can compromise. So these are some of the things that we need to do.
So Martin, with this current situation, are you making profit? Or how hard it is?
It's very difficult. The profit margin is very low right now, and it getting to a point where it's not motivating us anymore to like be excited to just do, because it's like everybody profiting from us and we the business people are getting like the leftovers.
Let's go to some of our comments. Jackie Sire says, so it is nearly impossible for Liberian entrepreneurs to do business in the country, transaction costs and bureaucratic red tapes. I think you agree with that, Martin?
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And all we're doing, we're just asking for a fair play. I think our president said that we shouldn't be spectators. This is the perfect time to implement that.
Right.
How can you make Liberian not to be a spectator? Put a better system in place. We want to pay tax because we want to help the country, but if we're not making profit, we're doing a business, we're going to stop, and then sooner or later it will affect everyone.
Are you implying that right now you are a spectator or you are not even on the field? Anyway, leave it like that. Boston Giller said too much bureaucratic process and this agreement with other coordinating partners has to do with high tariff. Talk about tariff a little bit. Is that part of the bottleneck?
Yeah, the tariff on things. To be fair to the government, they're doing some things that is good. I know they're working on allowing us to do more, to ship more, because there's certain things we can't ship into the country. We're not allowed to ship. If you're shipping water, if you're shipping certain things, the tariff is so high on it. It's so high. So it's like James was saying, is if you can bargain, if you're willing to spend, if you're willing to
right?
Yes. If you're willing to tip people, they will call it tip. If you're willing to tip people, you can get some of these things solved.
Earlier you said shake hands.
Onisman Thompson says, so true, brother. We as Liberians don't want to do the right thing. So criminals at the port. I don't think you share that tough language, but that's what James is thinking. Jackie Sire agree with you. Say guns are listed as banned import on the federal list.
Yes.
And talking about who benefits, Rose D. Jones, all these end up on the poor consumers.
Yes.
Also, Sam Waller is saying contraband means illegal, so guns are. Cisse Siafa sued Say one of the ways to address this, sue the government of Liberia at the Equals Court. When the WIA government loses millions by lawsuit at the Equals Court for damaged and lost goods, they will change the corrupt bureaucracy and red tape at the free port. And Martin, I don't think this is a WIA government thing alone. What's your take?
No, it's not. It's not a WIA government. It's a system. You know, we look. The system in Liberia. I go to Liberia every year. You know, sometimes twice a year. The system is, I don't know if it's the war, you know, I don't know if because of the war, but everybody just want to take, you know, everybody just want to take from you. So, you know, and then you can't blame them sometimes. You know, yes, we can complain, but we can't blame people because there's no hope. A lot of people don't have hope for tomorrow. Yeah. So that's why people want to take what they can take today.
That is very profound, Martin, that when the situation is hopeless,
yes,
and you are living one day at a time, why talk about next year? Why talk about future if I'm dying tomorrow? So let me eat today.
Give me what I can eat today. So if I die tomorrow, I need my stomach full. You know, but what we are trying to do as the Liberian diaspora shippers, this is why we're doing some humanitarian work. This is why we're here today. We reach out to other organizations, you know, so we can speak as one. We need to speak. You know, I mean, the government workers or our system, the people are Liberian just like us. And what puzzled me is like most of these guys in high places, they all live overseas, and they understand the system, but they have a different system.
Because you said that, Jackie said you are trying to justify thievery. When you say the people, they have no hope.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying when I say the people have no hope. I'm not saying that I agree with it. But I'm saying that we need to speak now. We need to come together, and we need to create that hope for people.
Okay.
We need to create. That's what we're trying to do. Look, if he can give a man a job, and he can provide for his family, trust me, Liberian people are very hardworking. They're very loyal, you know. But because of poverty, because of lack of hope, so people will do anything to anyone to get what they need. Because at the end of the day, we all have to eat. That's what we live for.
Sam Wallace said, in many countries, there's such thing as facilitation fee for process such as these to help people who are unfamiliar with the process of getting their container released. Usually, it is not more than $25. Thus, it is not considered a bribe, but rather a fee to facilitate the process. What is that fee in Liberia? Hold your thought there. Sam Wallow is also saying, oh, okay, Jackie is saying the fee is arbitrary and can be any amount the official wants it to be. And that's where corruption comes in. When there's too much discretion, you can charge anything. Siafa is saying, what are the brokers doing about regime change and electing officials who will liberalize the shipping environment? I don't know what regime change. Is it to change the president for I don't think we want to go to regime change. Let it be election, right? But Martin, those are a few of the comments. You can make your comment.
Yes, I just want to say that if you're a shipper, you're out there, let's work together. You know, because one of the problems we have among Liberians is like we're good to talk. You know, we'll talk here today, and tomorrow it will still be the same. You know, or we will talk here today, and then I will get compromised. You know, someone will call me and say, "My man, shut up. That's Martin here, or come, we'll pull you here." So it's like we're fighting for a cause, but at the same time, it's like I'm fighting for my interests. So the way for us to change, that's if we all fight for the cause and fight if we win or not. If we will benefit personally or not, we all have to fight for the cause and do it right, not just to seek our own interests or to get caught in the corner. You know, this is why we reach out to all the different association and groups, because these are the people that we all work with, the business, the broker. We need the brokers. The brokers need us. You know, they need us. We can't say we'll protest and not ship in the country because what people will suffer. You know, people here can get things to their family. The government not generating fund. All we're asking for the government to create a system, you know, make it business friendly, make the shipping fees not too high. I know the government have to generate tax, but make it not too high. The business environment in Liberia is not friendly at all. You know, especially when you come from overseas, it's like It's like it's a requirement that I have to take everything I can take from you. When I'm breaking to the country, when I'm paying tax, we pay over 100,000 last year in tax.
Thank you. And Jackie Sayed is asking here, why is Liberia always outsourcing? Is there anything they can do alone? And I think she's trying to, because this CTM, I think, is a foreign company.
Yeah.
APN terminal, the same thing. BVA, the same thing. And what's the other one? So all these institutions that are in this tracking, this shipping business, they are all foreign companies. Why non-Liberians can't get involved? That's the question Jackie is asking there. I saw a comment here from Dualu. He said, Google Freeport of Morovia. What to do and expect? There are full details on all they are explaining. Total rip-off at the Freeport. So Dwalu is telling about an article that we can read that will tell us all these things, these red tapes, these difficulties, the challenges that these shippers and even Liberians as well, shipping to Liberia. We have to find a way out of these things. Dennis, the example you gave about, the war years, this is what it is. The picture couldn't be right. All these institutions that one has to go through to just get one container clear. And somebody, I think Jones said, the poor consumers at the end of the day are the ones who are paying the price. That is why things are expensive. I don't know. I've always in touch with people in Liberia. Everything has been going up. Somebody might argue it happens in every country, but in a poor country where you have the unemployment rate is that high, and the government is not trying to work in a way that will make the process to be stable, but the process are going up, and then it's making things unbearable for the people. There has to be a way here.
And guess what? Senators and representatives are shipping for free. Martin, what's your experience?
Again. I have to be careful. I'm a businessman. I have to be careful.
I think yes.
I have to be careful, businessman. So,
okay. Because what happens here is since they are not feeling the pinch, and we see the same thing here, right? Mm-hmm. Because senators, representatives have their insurance is way different. So when you're talking about healthcare costs, they don't care.
Yeah, and I think that's some of the problem. That's some of the problem we as Liberian, if we have this whole "it's not me" syndrome, it's not me. If it's not me, I don't worry about it. If it's not affecting me personally, I don't care. That means, why are you complaining? Why are you complaining?
And then this is the unfairness of the system, and I'm glad somebody asked that or brought it up about. It's not only the senators. That includes representatives and other officials of government, ministers. These people ship things to Liberia and they don't pay a dime. Some of them, practically free. And these are the higher income earners in the country. These are the people that don't just have their Liberian dollar salary, they have their US dollar allowances. It's not only that, these are the people that even getting, the government is making money available for their housing, for their generator, down to even striker, government is making it available. These are the people that will import things into the country and will not have to pay money. Right. But somebody like you who trying to do business have to be running around here and there to pay all the fees. Then how do you make profit? There has to be a solution, and we need to find it. And that conversation has begun right here.
And Mr. Sia, even if I have to ship books to my old elementary school in Dodokan, I pay. This is free. I'm not making profit out of this. I just want to help somebody. Mm-hmm. Earn the same education I got in that place, way behind God back, being taught by qualified teachers. Right now, it's not the same. So we are trying to help, but you have to pay through your teeth when you are sending something.
Yeah. And it breeds the construction. There's a corruption, right? So an official of government, because he has this somehow duty free, right? Some business people will pass through that man, defrauding government of taxes and all that. So we can't sustain this behavior. This behavior is unacceptable. And then it's talking about sending books to Dodokan. Maybe you can think about the e-library. Maybe you should get a computer and internet there, but again, no current. How will you keep the internet running?
Exactly. We don't even get ELBC. So when are we going to? But Martin, let's end this way. We have to continue this. Today was an introduction. We have to continue this conversation and bring in more. We didn't even get to the point of how to resolve some of these things, and if possible, get someone from the port or from LRA or CTN or BVAC. Somebody needs to tell us what the process is and how we can ease it. So let's conclude here. Let's get your final comments, and that should include recommendations to minimize or resolve this kind of issue. I know that's even to list the issue is costing 10 minutes, and we are in the middle. So recommendation is not going to be, but do your best.
Right. I mean, first, I want to thank you guys for inviting us, and we would love to come back, especially with more members. We're just sorry that due to some technical difficulties and other things, more members couldn't come on today. But we'd love to come back because we have to have this discussion. Because even though we are all in the diaspora, but what happened in Liberia affect us. What happened in Liberia affect us in the diaspora. And at the end of the day, we ended up paying for it. So that's why we're trying to be a part of the system to help create jobs, to help invest in Liberia so the government can create revenue to be able to do some of the things they need to do. But all we're asking is to create a friendly business environment. This CTN, CTN has to go. I can't say it any better. CTN has to go. If BVAC going to represent the government, then stick with BVAC assessment. Why are you doing another assessment? If BVAC is working on your behalf, why would you do another assessment? Stick with that. The goods and service tax is too high. Bring that down a little bit to help. It's higher than other neighboring countries, the goods and service tax.
All right.
Just to it's frustrating in a way, but we love our country. We just want the legislators, they need to call us. They need to hear from the business people. They need to hear from us because you can't call the people that you need to call every group. You need to call, just like you're calling LRA, call the business, call the brokers and see what are some of the issues. That's the only way we can solve this problem. If we all be at the table, we all need to be at the table. You can't have some at the table because you will not address the rest of the issues. Everybody needs to be at the table. We all talk about the issues, and then we compromise on some of the solution. We compromise on the solution. Other people doing it. The Lebanese, they're all together. They're paying more than we pay when it comes to shaking hands. But you don't hear them complaining because at the end of the day, they can't afford it. You and I can't afford it. But at the end of the day, we love our country. We want to invest in our country. We just need our government to make us not suspect. How you call it? Suspect.
Suspicious.
No, not suspicious. Spectators.
Oh, spectators. Okay.
We don't want to be spectators, just like the president say. We right now, some of us. Look, I can tell you, no Liberian. You can ask any Liberian shipper. No Liberian shipper right now. Maybe one or two out of 100 that can say I'm living full time for my shipping. Nobody. Wow. Some people have been doing this for years.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Martin.
So we want that to get better. We want that to get better.
Thank you, Martin. Again, folks, we want to say thank you for staying with us throughout this broadcast. We have had with us Martin, who is from the Liberian Diaspora Shipping and Business Association. Again, there should have been other members joining him, but for some reason, they can't be here. We will make effort again to bring another show on this particular subject because we know, as we all continue to hear, that the free port of Liberia is the gateway to the nation's economy. And if we are having issues with shipping in Liberia, no wonder why the economy, using my political eye, is in the toilet because that gateway is flooded with all the challenges that are creating bottlenecks and red tapes, thereby leading to the increase in prices of basic commodity that the very poor people need. So we must talk about this and find a solution to it. I have a song here that say, we are all Liberians, and that song is going to close us. Martin, thank you. You guys stick together and let us have this conversation. Let's call the leaders here. Dennis Jai will go to work and let's call people from the LRA. Dennis, give me somebody from the LRA. I got some questions for them. This thing is serious and we need to have a result. Thanks, folks. And this is how we will close the curtain. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our home. Liberia people. Liberia.